You have probably seen it in a dozen movies or read it in a dusty survival manual. A lone traveler is trudging across a sun-scorched desert, lips cracked and tongue swollen from thirst. Desperate, they find a smooth, round stone, pop it into their mouth, and start sucking. The idea is that the rock stimulates saliva production, which keeps the mouth moist and somehow tricks the body into thinking it is hydrated. It sounds like a clever, low-effort trick to survive the heat, but here's the cold, hard truth. Sucking on a rock does absolutely nothing to hydrate you. In fact, it is a dangerous distraction. The mechanism is simple. Your body needs water in your bloodstream to function, not just moisture in your mouth. Sucking on a rock only encourages you to swallow your own saliva, which is already part of your body's water supply. You are essentially recycling your own fluids while wasting precious energy and focus that should be spent on finding a real water source. If you rely on this myth, you're just delaying the inevitable while your body continues to lose water through sweat and respiration. Instead, focus your energy on finding shade, minimizing movement during the hottest parts of the day, and actively searching for a legitimate water source. Do not let a pebble be the reason you run out of time. That same desperation for water often leads people to another dangerous trap, the idea that you can just slice open a cactus and drink the juice inside. It is a classic trope. You see the character hack into a barrel cactus, squeeze the pulp, and gulp down a refreshing drink. It seems like nature provided a built-in canteen just for you. But this is a gamble that could end your survival situation before it even really begins. Many desert cacti, including the barrel cactus, contain highly concentrated, toxic alkaloids. These substances are designed by the plant to deter animals from eating them, and they are not friendly to the human digestive system. If you drink that juice, you're likely to experience severe nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea. In a survival scenario, those symptoms are a death sentence. They accelerate dehydration at a rate far faster than simply going without water. You lose the fluids you have left, you become weak, and you lose the ability to think clearly or move effectively. So, what actually works? Never assume a plant is safe unless you are an expert in local flora. In the desert, your best bet is to carry more water than you think you need, and if you are truly desperate, look for signs of animal life or moisture in rock crevices, but leave the cactus alone. It is not a water fountain, it is a trap. While you are navigating these hazards, you might encounter wildlife that turns a bad situation into a life or death struggle. Everyone has heard that if you are bitten by a snake, you should immediately cut the wound and suck the venom out. You have seen the hero of the movie do it, spitting out the poison and saving the day. It feels like a proactive, heroic response to a terrifying situation. But the reality is that this technique is not only ineffective, it is actively harmful. When you cut into a snake bite, you are damaging healthy tissue, increasing the risk of a secondary infection and potentially introducing bacteria from your own mouth into the wound. Furthermore, the venom enters your bloodstream almost instantly. You cannot suck it out because the venom is injected deep into the tissue, often into the muscle or fat layers, where it is quickly absorbed into the lymphatic system. Your mouth is not a vacuum pump, and the pressure differential required to extract venom from deep tissue is impossible to achieve. What actually works is simple, though it might feel less heroic. Stay calm, keep the bitten limb immobilized and at or below the level of your heart, and get to a medical facility as quickly as possible. Do not cut, do not suck, and do not waste time on movie-style heroics. Your goal is to slow the spread of the venom, not to perform a procedure that causes more damage than the snake did. The danger of these myths isn't limited to the desert or the wilderness. It follows you into the freezing cold, too. You might think that taking a swig of whiskey or brandy will warm you up when you're shivering in the snow. It is a classic image, the mountain climber or the stranded traveler taking a pull from a flask to stave off the frost. It feels like it works because you get that immediate burning sensation in your chest and a flush of warmth on your skin. But that feeling is a lie. Alcohol causes vasodilation, which means it expands the blood vessels near the surface of your skin. This brings warm blood away from your core and out to your extremities, making you feel warmer for a moment, but actually accelerating the loss of heat from your vital organs. You are essentially tricking your body into dumping its internal heat into the environment. In a survival situation, your core temperature is your most precious resource. If you lower it, you increase your risk of hypothermia and cloud your judgment. Instead of alcohol, stay warm by layering your clothing, keeping dry, and consuming high-calorie foods that provide your body with the fuel it needs to generate its own heat. Alcohol is not a heater. It is a thief that steals the warmth you need to survive. Even when you're trying to stay warm, you have to be aware of the predators that share the woods with you. People often say that if you encounter a bear, the best move is to play dead. It sounds like a universal rule, but it is a dangerous oversimplification. Bear behavior varies wildly depending on the species and the context of the encounter. If you're dealing with a grizzly bear, playing dead might be the right move if it is a defensive attack. But if you try that with a black bear or a predatory mountain lion, you're just making yourself an easy meal. The mechanism here is about understanding the animal's intent. A defensive bear wants to neutralize a threat. A predatory animal wants to eat. If you play dead with a predator that is hunting, you're removing the only thing that might stop it, your status as a dangerous, upright human. What actually works is knowing your environment. Research the wildlife in the area before you head out. Carry bear spray, make noise to avoid surprising them, and learn the specific defensive behaviors for the animals you might encounter. Do not rely on a one-size-fits-all rule that could be the exact wrong move for the specific animal standing in front of you. As you move through the woods, you will eventually need to find water, and you might think that any running stream is safe to drink. It looks pristine, it is moving, and it is far from civilization. It seems like the perfect natural source of hydration. But even the clearest, fastest-moving water can be a highway for parasites like Giardia or Cryptosporidium or bacteria from animal waste upstream. You cannot see these microscopic threats, and they do not care how clear the water looks. The mechanism of contamination is simple. Water is a universal solvent and a carrier. Anything that happens upstream, from a dead animal in the water to a patch of soil contaminated with feces, ends up in the water you're about to drink. If you drink it, you risk severe gastrointestinal distress, which leads to vomiting and diarrhea again, the fastest way to lose the hydration you're trying to gain. What actually works is treating your water. Use a portable filter, chemical purification tablets, or, if you have the means, boil the water for at least 1 minute. Never trust the appearance of water. If you cannot treat it, do not drink it. Once you have your water, you need to think about shelter, and you might think that building a fire inside a cave is the ultimate survival hack. It keeps you out of the wind and keeps you toasty. But this is a recipe for a silent, invisible killer: carbon monoxide poisoning. Caves are often small, enclosed spaces with limited airflow. When you burn wood or fuel, you produce carbon monoxide, an odorless, colorless gas that displaces the oxygen in your blood because you cannot smell or see it. You might not even realize you're being poisoned until you're too weak to move, or you lose consciousness. The mechanism is a slow, suffocating process that happens while you think you're getting comfortable. What actually works is building your shelter in a way that allows for proper ventilation. If you must have a fire, build it outside the cave entrance, or use a shelter design that allows smoke and gases to escape. Your warmth is not worth the risk of never waking up. Finally, you might think that hunting for food should be a top priority when you are lost in the wild. You see it on every survival show. The protagonist spends hours or days trying to trap a rabbit or spear a fish. It feels like the right thing to do because we associate survival with eating. But in a real emergency, hunting is a massive waste of precious calories. The energy you spend tracking, stalking, and trying to catch an animal is almost always more than the energy you will get from eating it. You're burning your body's reserves on a low-probability gamble. The mechanism of survival is about triage. You can go weeks without food, but you can only go days without water and hours without shelter. Hunting should be at the bottom of your list. What actually works is focusing on the basics: shelter, water, and signaling for rescue. If you have extra energy and a high probability food source falls into your lap, take it. but do not make hunting your primary mission. By now, you can see how these myths can be more dangerous than the situations they are meant to solve. Survival is not about movie tropes or clever-sounding tricks. It is about understanding the actual mechanisms of your body and the environment. It is about making decisions based on evidence, not on what you have seen on a screen. If you want to keep learning how to separate the survival facts from the dangerous fiction, subscribe to the channel. And if there is a survival myth you have always believed, leave it in the comments below. We want to hear what you have heard so we can help you get to the truth. Stay safe, stay smart, and keep questioning what you think you know.